Anyone who has ever ventured in the realm of creepy and cryptozoology has probably heard of Bigfoot. This is all things creepy. Let's talk about Bigfoot. This is a subject that I have yet to touch in depth on my channel, so here we go. At the mere mention of Bigfoot, many people will label someone as crazy.
I've shot and killed 2 of them.
Or a conspiracy theorist. But it's actually ironic because there are quite a lot of famous, important people and public figures who do believe in the existence of Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot and his derivatives, namely a big upright ape, have been cited for hundreds of years. You have the Yeti in Eastern Asia, and you have the skunk ape in southern North America. Different variants of the same sort of thing. A big ape-like individual who seems to be between a man and a chimpanzee or gorilla, something like that. The most notable sighting and video evidence was captured by Patterson and Gimlin in 1967. The two captured some very shaky footage by some kind of river stream in North California. Here's a quick clip. Now, as you can see, the footage is extremely shaky. Now, they have somewhat of an excuse. Back then there wasn't the technology of today, so maybe the camera quality was really just that poor. And of course, these guys aren't filming a professional film, so it's not going to be that high quality, so you're allowed to give them some slack there. However, it's definitely a point of contention. Many will suggest that it's simply someone in a suit, maybe one of the 2 people filming, and he just walked along in a funny way and they said, hey look, it's Bigfoot. Now, this has been hotly debated. Because of the poor quality, you can't really tell the dimensions of this creature. However, it does appear to have inhuman proportions. The arms are very long, it has quite a stout torso, stuff that you would generally associate with a gorilla or some kind of more primitive primate. One of them has actually died, and he claimed up until his deathbed that it was real, and the other one also claims the same thing. Of course, it's become one of those things that is just so ambiguous you can hardly say, yes, this is proof of Bigfoot, but then again, you can't outright deny it. It could be either. There have been numerous modern day sightings, for instance this one, which caught Bigfoot in a forest. Now, this one, it's hard to tell. Once again, it's very shaky. They didn't get a clear picture of the animal, but its mouth doesn't move, its facial features don't move in the way that a normal animal would. Our faces, and other animals too, are constantly twitching and having muscular contractions, so to me this is probably just someone with a mask on, unless this Bigfoot is paralysed in the face. Things just don't really add up, and you'll see this a lot with modern Bigfoot footage. A lot of the time there's something that isn't quite right, and although the footage is very shaky, and I believe this is on purpose, you can kind of tell that it's probably fake and someone in a suit. This leads me to believe that the footage taken in the late 1960s was also probably someone in a suit, but because the quality was just so bad and the frame rate of the camera was just so poor, we couldn't tell any of the clear imperfections. And considering that in modern times almost everyone has a smartphone, especially in North America, it'd be quite easy to just quickly take footage of Bigfoot. So you can't say, well, I didn't have time to take any footage, or I couldn't get any clear footage. Most people have an HD camera, or there's going to be someone in the area that has one. Now, the counter argument to this would be, well, maybe Bigfoot's died out. Maybe that footage in the old days was just one of the last of its kind, you know, maybe because we've advanced so much they've gone extinct. But the argument to that is, well, bodies would have appeared, right? If these things have been dying off recently, the bones aren't even going to be that deep in the soil. We'd be finding weird gorilla-like carcasses in the North American forests, which would be very strange. Now, bear in mind, a population like this would need to reproduce to even sustain itself. A common argument is that maybe there was only one Bigfoot, or maybe there's only a few. Well, the only way this would be possible is for it to have escaped a zoo or something, because, let's be real, for a population to survive, it needs to be reproducing, right? There needs to be a native population. Now, if one escaped from a zoo, it would be a gorilla, that gorilla would have to learn to stand upright, walk around like Bigfoot, live a very long time, and of course barely ever get caught, right? And there would be records of a gorilla escaping the zoo too, so bear that in mind. In my opinion, Bigfoot is just a fairy tale, you know, a folklorish type thing that has been passed on through generations, you know, the ape that stood upright. I mean, think about it, in North America, the original Native Americans migrated over from Asia, and there would have been a lot of apes there, you know, subhuman apes, stuff like gorillas, orangutans in their natural habitat, and humans talk a lot, they tell a lot of stories, and stuff like that spreads. Now, whilst humans or relatives of modern day humans were still alive, there was actually a gigantic ape called Gigantopithecus. This ape would have stood upright based on its skeletal structure, and its face would have seemed more like ours because we stand upright, so its face would have shared more anatomical similarities to ours than it would, say, an orangutan. Now, Gigantopithecus was related to an orangutan, somewhat similar, but very different in its environment and the way it moved around. Gigantopithecus could stand 10 feet tall if it wanted. It had large, powerful arms, and it definitely fits the bill for what we see as Bigfoot, maybe even bigger than what a lot of people claim to be Bigfoot. In a lot of cases, it's just a man-sized ape. This thing would have been huge. If you think about it, 10 feet tall is massive, taller than any recorded human by miles, and definitely something that could haunt the dreams of anyone that saw it and get passed on through folklore. Now, of course, there is the possibility that they are still alive in remote areas. Naturally, it's very slim. An animal that big, it's hard to hide. It's very easy to see, especially with modern technology. So in conclusion, in my opinion, Bigfoot is not real and is not alive today. Feel free to share your stories and opinions in the comments below, like the video if you did, and of course if you haven't already, subscribe for more creepy content.